First, congratulations with the release of your new album. Can you take me how to the process of getting there?
Yeah, sure. Basically, we started this project like I think 2 years ago, and it developed kind of slowly. And the whole process, I think it's always the best part about starting a new band. Um, Trying to to find a group identity because we're all shaped by our individual influences and our tastes, and sometimes if we rely on that too much, we forget when playing in group that the whole point of it of a group project is to develop a musical unity between all the members, you know. So we have a wide range of influences in our band, from between me, Daniel, our vocalist, Fred, our drummer, and Luis, our bass player. We like a wide spectrum of things, you know, from Eva to Anthrax, from blues to black metal, you know, it's everything in between. So the one common thing that we all liked was sort of that, you know, 90s, 2000s sort of way of approaching songs, you know, sort of song structure and themes, riffs, and everything like that. And that we really liked that. We had that in common. So that was sort of the basis for the whole um, sort of band identity, and we started building from there, you know, and adding little individual things that we all liked and we all agreed upon, and trying to write good songs, I guess, along the way.
Okay, and how was your approach on recording the album then, as a first one?
Yeah, this is the first record of In We Fall, and it was a great experience. It was recorded at Evolution Studios, which is a sort of a studio owned by Daniel, our lead singer. He actually produced and engineered the whole record, and it was a great experience. It was a slow one because we all live in different cities, so it wasn't like we had sort of a fixed amount of time, sort of a week or 2 weeks or a month to go to the studio and write and record everything. It was sort of done by chunks of time and song by song. But it was really fun. You know, me and Danielle, we write the whole material for the band, and then the arrangements are done, you know, collectively in the studio. So that part was really good, and it was a real fun, positive experience for everyone. I guess it was a really enthusiastic project.
Ah, this is good to hear. Um, have you guys been playing before the band together, or?
Not together. Actually, it's kind of funny because Daniel and Fred, our lead singer and our drummer, they know each other since they were 13, so way back then. And actually, the first band, sort of, you know, garage band they played together. Um, and then Daniel kind of moved cities, and so they're now, you know, sort of re-meeting within this project. And me and Luis, our bass player, we know each other since we were kids, and we played a lot. We wrote a lot of stuff, and so it's kind of interesting to see those two pairings, you know, two
Yeah.
people who know each other way back then, and then starting to write and record songs, all the four of us. So yeah, that was actually really cool. Fred actually has an experience in a previous band. He recorded 2, 3 albums. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, the four of us getting together. This is the first one that we write and record. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the way we're kind of all linked. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
All right. Let's look a little bit at the record itself then. I would like to start with the song Silent War, which you also released as a single. Can you tell me a little bit about this track?
Sure. This track, it was musically done by me and Daniel. It sort of had Daniel had some ideas, of some riffs in the songs, and then I took it upon myself to change some things, suggest some things in certain sections of the song, and we all came to an agreement to we all agreed with a vision that we wanted to take that song in, and musically, I think it's really simple in a way. You know, it's really catchy, it's really melodic. That was one of the reasons we chose it to be our first single. And then lyrically, well, it's obviously related to conflict, you know, to not only conflict, but I guess one's perception of a conflict. You know, it's not really, at least I think, not really super tongue in cheek in regards to the way it addresses conflict. It addresses conflict from a very personal perspective, and the opinions that Danielle has on certain subjects are I guess, very well uh, represented in those lyrics. So yeah, I guess a combination of all that, and it's a really catchy song. So I've heard from people who told us it's a really catchy song, and that's what we were aiming for. You know, really catchy vocals, powerful riffs, you know, great drums, great groove, bass. So that was really the aim for it. Yeah.
Cool. Then I wanted to ask you a little bit about Winter Shades. Sounds like a perfect song to talk about in this time
Yeah,
of the
sure.
year.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, how did you come to that one?
That's actually interesting. That was we were having some difficulties agreeing about which songs because we had other songs written, but we were having some trouble all agreeing in which songs to keep for the record. And we agreed in we had a lot of songs, but we agreed in 9 of them. But we thought the album really needed a 10th track, and you know, to round things up a bit. And Winter Shades was actually written, uh, I guess, not exactly as it is, but the core of it, in terms of sections and structure, it was written a Sunday morning, I guess, that I woke up and I went to meet Luis, our bass player, and we recorded sort of a sketch at his place. Um, and it was sort of a rainy day, so it's kind of a fitting title, you know. And we recorded it, and I sent it to the guys, and they all liked the ideas behind it. So we started arranging things collectively, and yeah, I guess the whole vibe of when it was written and recorded, sort of that first sketch, translated into the title, which translated into the lyric domain. So that's really cool. You know, it's a really sort of somber, gray song. You know, really gets a moody vibe across. And Daniel, I think he captured perfectly what I intended to say musically. He captured it perfectly in terms of lyrics. And yeah, it's one of my favorite songs of the record, definitely.
Nice. I saw you also did some video for that on your YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. We recorded it. I guess it's a little bit of 2 months or 3 months ago. Yeah, probably 2 months ago. It was a great experience. We worked with a company called Cold Blur, which they're also in a band. So they're all in a band called Needle, a Portuguese band, great prog metal band. Um, and so they already knew how to capture a sort of performance vibe, which is what we wanted. At least for Winter Shades, we wanted to play with colors and color schemes and the whole space that we recorded in while performing. So it was really effortless. Like we didn't have to say anything. We just like went there, played, and yeah, they captured it immediately. They got the vibe that we wanted to get across. So it was a really cool and honestly fast experience because it no trouble whatsoever. So it was really cool.
Yeah, that's really nice if you can understand each other so well about
Yeah,
what you
definitely.
want to do. Yeah. All right. then one of the tracks I found interesting is Wall Again. It's very powerful. Can you tell me a little bit about the background of that song?
Yeah, actually, by the way, thanks for giving the shout out to all these songs there. And I get that you really listened to it and showed interest. That's really cool, man. We appreciate it. Um, Whole Again was one of those songs that, back to what I was saying, that me and Luis, we know each other a long time ago. And we sort of, in our teenage years, we wrote a lot of stuff that most of it, like 90% of it, never saw the light of day. Because it's like we write some sketches of songs, some riffs, and Whole Again was actually one of those songs. We had like the main riff, the intro, the verse, and the chorus riff written. Actually, we had everything written, but the final section, sort of the last riff. And as we were writing, I was going through some files that I had on my phone, and I stumbled upon this, and whoa, it's this, and I haven't heard it in ages. And we recorded sort of a sketch of it years ago, and I thought it was really cool and fitting for the project. It had like a sort of Bush meets Deftones meets Soundgarden in a way. It has elements of everything, of all those things, but it's not really super relatable to any of those things individually. Um, so I presented to the guys, and they all liked it. And it's one of those songs that, at least lyrically, I guess it's one of the happiest songs of the album in a way. I think Daniel went lyrically. It's totally different from like Silent War and Winter Shades, which we were talking about, or Road to Live. And Whole Again, it's one of those points of the album that really addresses a different mind state and emotion from any of the other songs of the record. And I guess it really has a rock vibe more than a heavier vibe like some of the other songs of the album, like Winter Shades or even Empty Hand, which is the final track of the record. So yeah, that's also one of my favorites. I guess I'm gonna say this about every song, but I really think that one thing that we didn't want is to have like filler songs on the record, and at
Yeah.
least to our ears, someone else might listen to the record and say, "Oh, this is everything's shit," and nothing really. But at least to my ears, it's really a cool sounding record, and we think that neither of those songs could be sort of dismissed and left out, and it wouldn't make sense. We think every song, it's perfectly sensible to keep on this record. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I think if I looked up, for example, Hope Again is like much calmer. It comes straight after that, so I liked that you play with the energy in there.
Oh, Hope is gone. Hope is gone. Yeah, yeah, right.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And how do you look at that track yourself?
That's probably the most, that and What Now are obviously the sort of the calmer songs of the record, and that follows in the whole idea of the inner self. It was sort of conceptualized that we wanted to make a record, at least thematically, about one's inner self, and the everything that journey through the inner self has it inherent in it. Not only the bad, which in the metal spectrum of things, that's obviously the most talked about thing, I guess. Negative emotions, and the way of dealing, a positive way of dealing with negative emotions, is always present in the genre of music. But it's not so often that you see sort of a more nostalgic, happy in a good way, kind of emotion dealt with this way. And obviously lyrically, it's really not as dark, but I love that about that, because it's great to show that it's cool to deal with happy moments, as it is cool to deal with not so great moments in one's journey. And yeah, instrumentally, I guess it reflects that. It's really anthemic and sort of a ballady vibe. So I really like that song also. Yeah, that's
All right, you said you have a lot of favorites. Is there any track that you think is like a favorite for you to play live?
um, I mean, obviously I like to play every song live, and we will start doing it more often now that the album's going to be released this next Friday. Um, and we are scheduling some concerts sort of focused on the first trimester of the year. I guess Road to Live. I think it's a great banger. It's a great album opening in my opinion, and it really has a great energy live. It has a good thump, sort of mid-range tempo, bluesy kind of grunge riffs, and melodic chorus. That probably is a song that I really enjoy playing because of its energy and the reaction of people listening to it.
All right. Yeah, you already mentioned that you have a couple of plans for touring next year. What else is coming up for you?
Yeah, it's essentially that. We the album, like I said, comes out this Friday, and we're trying to play as much as we can live because that's the other part of it that we really enjoy doing. And so far we haven't had the opportunity to do it as much because we were really focused on finishing the record and try to get it this as perfect as we could. Because it's also our first record, so we want to do things right and not rush into it like many of some bands that we know that rushed into it, and then it's like something they're not really proud of, and they always think, I guess we could have spent more time doing it. So we really focused on that. But from January on, we were just gonna try to play as much as we can and get the album across every opportunity we can.
All right. Well, then I come already to my last question, and that is the one I ask everyone in this series, for it's almost Christmas. Do you have a Christmas wish or some wisdom that you want to share with the world?
I don't know so much about wisdom, but realistically, I think there are common things we would all like to wish for, in terms of global conflicts and things like that. But I'm gonna try not to give sort of a Miss Universe answer to things. Try to to play to my own cards. I guess as a rule of thumb, socially, I wish people would value art more. Um, Not in a way of like to, to admit that everything is art and that we can all be artistic. It's not that, but that also. But we would. I wish that society would value more the amount of effort that some artists put into their music and the amount of time it takes for things to get right, and for someone to be satisfied with an artwork, whether it's music or any other kind of artistic endeavor. I wish people would value that more and understand what really the whole process and the whole work that goes through behind the scenes. Because people, I guess, still have this kind of idea that it's some sort of mystically like God-given talent or whatever, and I really don't agree with that. I think it's really through hard work and dedication and love for your art that you grow in. It makes some people like really go sort of insane, and I think that's really it's really explanatory of the whole process and the commitment that it takes. So yeah, I wish people would value that more, I guess.
Yeah, I think I agree with that very much. So much. Thank you for your time.
I think we would like to thank you also for listening to the record and for being so nice to want to answer to questions and things actually.
Yeah, I really hope that I get to see you on the road somewhere, so I can see it all live in front of me. Who knows? All right.
Should hope so. Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you for your time and good evening then.
Good evening.
Bye.